Ajax has always trained talented players. Each year, at least one makes his debut in the first team, something that often marks the start of a success. Recognizing and selecting young players with potential. Ajax pays careful attention to this. Many players with potential are followed intensively. Not only Dutch players.
Loop maar door, jongens. Stel je maar op hier. Stel je maar op.
A lot of young players would love to play for Ajax, and there are regular opportunities for them to show us what they can do. We call these the talent days. The Ajax style of soccer requires players with many qualities. Just one good technique is not enough. You must be able to do more. To determine whether a player is good enough for Ajax, the club trainers work with the so-called TIPS system. T stands for technique, and especially ball control. I stands for insight, or we could use the word soccer intelligence. P is for personality, and is essential for reaching the top. Not only does a player need self-confidence and determination, but must also be coachable and able. These key elements we train at Ajax after a player has been selected. At times, the player may be confronted with all four simultaneously. This part, we concentrate on coordination training. In part 2, the accent is on speed training. Because they both have a lot in common, parts 1 and 2 should. How the training sessions are conducted, technically as well as tactically, is determined by the Ajax soccer vision. The Ajax soccer vision is that the match is always the heart of the matter. The match determines how you train, individually and collectively. This means that all matches are carefully analyzed. Certain facets are highlighted, trained for systematically, and fitted into the total concept. For instance, if a player doesn't have the insight needed for the right follow-up, he might make a wrong choice. So there is always a clear relationship between training and the match. aspects are important.
Knie optrek, hak en billen tegelijk. Slot er, knie optrek ook.
The key is to train exactly what is important for the play. Must be finely tuned because everything is linked. For instance, when you're training for speed, it doesn't automatically mean you improve technically. However, training one aspect does influence the other, but improving the one does not automatically lead to improving the other. So you need to constantly ask yourself what the effects of an exercise are and what your objective is. In this, you need to realize that a player is not a collection of loose elements, but that he is a whole, and that he is part of a team. At Ajax, we try to train as functionally as possible. Everything must be aimed at the game of soccer. What we mean is that you need to train for those things you need in the match.
Ja, dat is de goeie. Ja, en terug. En de spin. Ja, juist.
And what you need has everything to do with the Ajax system. In this system, at Ajax, we also have a clear vision of more emphasis is put on the physical aspect. In this too, teams can differ. Older teams receive more physical training, and not only because they train more, proportion of football to physical training. Development in youth are never even. This is especially so where body growth is concerned. For instance, when you were 20 inches long as a baby, growing at 3 inches each year, at 18 you are about 6 foot. But that's not the way it goes. You don't grow 3 inches a year, but sometimes more and sometimes less. How much you grow each year is not a nice straight line, but looks more like this. So, the first years of your life, you grow very fast. After this, there is a period of steady growth. In this period, you grow between 2 and 3 inches a year. After the 12th year, there is a sudden increase in growth. You may then to Ajax players. The one is fully grown at an earlier stage. We call this an early developer. Then the other, a late developer. One year later, Zeedorf, an early developer, is in his growth spurt and has almost grown as tall as Klauvert. Although a late developer, has grown taller. It's also very clear when looking at the growth pattern of the two boys. Zeedorf pretty well stops growing after his 16th year, while Klauvert keeps growing beyond his 18th birthday. During the growth spurt, the male hormones in the body increase, mainly testosterone. This ensures that muscles get stronger and faster, and that they get a better condition. Training in strength, speed, and endurance is therefore more effective during and especially after the growth spurt, rather than at the age of 9, for instance. A young player that enters the growth spurt earlier will increase his biological head start even more through training. When the Whether a player is an early developer or a late developer can be determined by comparing the change in leg and body length. When the changes are pronounced, you know a player is in the growth spurt. Can be measured by a decreasing heart rate at the same level of physical exercise. For this, at Ajax, we use the shuttle run. During the shuttle run, you run constantly between two lines 20 meters apart. The time you have for this is constantly reduced. This player had an unexpected increase in stamina. When taking the test at 17, he had a heart rate of 167 after 1 minute. After 2 minutes, it was 176. The rest of the test looks like this. 1 year later, we see a big change. A decrease of 10 heartbeats in such a period is extremely rare. A top athlete would So physical training has more effect during and after the growth spurt. In the old days, people had thought to pay attention to body coordination during soccer training, especially to that part of the coordination that is important in playing soccer.
Heel goed, prima. Kijken naar elkaar toe, kijken naar elkaar toe. Heel goed, op de voet. Korter, draai, 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 draai. Kaatsen, springen af. Heel goed.
Coordination is the technique one needs in all movements. In football, these are handling of the ball, trapping and heading techniques, and the body's dummy moves. You must be able to execute all these techniques in all kinds of situations, while at the same time keeping Whether you train for technique, speed, or strength, practice makes perfect, and even more so if you're talented. Because after some time movements start becoming automatic, there is more time for other things. You get a better idea of how the Ajax system works looking at tactics, the way soccer intelligence comes into play. In Ajax youth training, much attention is given to training with the ball and to insight into the game.
Ja, dribbel. En dan ga je dus iets vooruit, hè. En je gaat al een beetje zo en over de bal heen kijken soms, ja? Oké, kom maar.
Why is so much emphasis put on training on technique at Ajax? Because, in the long term, technique always wins. Technique is the basis for all moves, not only in soccer, but in the whole of society.
Probeer hem veel te raken en probeer hem niet te ver voor je uit te spelen. En doe maar eventjes opzij.
In soccer, it is doubly effective to train for technique and time on technical expertise with the ball.
Hij redt het niet! Hij redt het niet! Bal! Kom naar bal! Oh!
Young players are able to do all kinds of exercises without thinking or mental restriction. Their nervous system is ready for it. Just look at how quickly children pick things up. A question of looking and dexterity. At Ajax, we teach coordination between eyes and feet in the same way.
En dan neem je de bal niet tussen je voeten mee, maar weet je nog een andere manier, Mark? Ja, goed zo. Dus dan ga je hem in eerste instantie gewoon een beetje op de plaats, aan de voorkant van de voet zo. En dan af en toe ga je ook al om je heen kijken, hè? Dat is ook heel belangrijk. Want er zijn altijd spelers die om je heen lopen.
For the best results, you need expert trainers, interesting and challenging learning material, and good examples.
En gelijk ook een beetje om je heen kijken, Mark. Als het goed gaat, hè, en je hebt de bal al heel... Tik, tik, tik.
Training for technique with selected football talent has much more effect because they are already good at it.
Ha, goed gedaan. Applaus, Mark.
In this kind of situation, there is often a chain reaction. Because players stimulate each other, you get all the desired effects.
Goede beweging, Potje.
During the first years of the course, emphasis is placed on the development of a feel for the ball. At Ajax, we try to achieve this by practicing with a range of different balls.
Je moet hem met je hak naar je andere voet toe tikken, André. Dus even met je hak naar je andere voet toe tikken. Zo ja. Die kan het heel snel. En dan heeft hij toch die bal onder controle. Kijk, die Dwight zeg. Goed zo, wie kan hem ook achteruit meenemen? Dan moet je even X-benen maken, hè? Achteruit mee. Goed blijven. Kort raken, Quins. Kort raken. Elke keer kort raken die bal. Nou, als je echt over die bal heen aait, dan heb je er geen last van. Dan is het gewoon het snel. Ga ik even kijken wie het het mooiste doet. Hoog. Zo. Hey. Probeer hem te kijken.
Nou speel je de bal, Johnny, naar de ander. Ja, die houdt de bal even tussen zijn voeten vast en dan kijk je gelijk en dan speel je hem weer. Goed zo. Maar blijf achter je eigen goaltje, hè? Dus kort tussen je voeten.
Especially at this stage, the foundation must be laid for perfect technique. If you start later, technique can be achieved, but it takes a lot longer. The younger a person is, the better the exercises become part of his inner fiber. All exercises should be mastered both with the left and right side. This ensures double or multi-sided control. In the Ajax system, you can only perform well if you have this multi-sided control.
Goed zo, Jordi, dat is heel goed. Echt goed, een beetje voorover. Hup, klaar zijn om de bal te krijgen, links of rechts. En dan ga je hem achteren. En dan gaat het meer om. Precies mikken, dat de andere goed terug wil spelen. Zo, goed zo, Robin. Hup. En dan maak je het weer korter. En dan moet je opletten, want dan moet je iets sneller reageren zo. Zie je? Hup, goed zo, Robin. Ja, hup, en iets achteruit. Iets achteruit. Goed zo, goed zo. Links en rechts. Dus je neemt de bal aan, jongens, met één been, hè. Dan gaat hij naar je andere been. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Robin, hè? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 en spelen. Goed, Robin. Snel, hè, jongens. Tussen de goaltjes door.
For good ball control, you learn to become master of the ball. This fits well with the development phase. Children at this age have the tendency to play with themselves and the ball. Only later, around 12 years of age, are more of the social skills developed. That is the time when emphasis is put on playing together. At this age, children begin to understand that they are a player in a team. In practice, this means that more emphasis is placed on playing together and passing.
Nu! Je bal! Ja, maar moest nu! Dat is goed gedaan! Dat is goed gedaan!
At Ajax, we start training in running technique with the youngest groups, in a number of variations. This has to be done just as you start to build up soccer training carefully. At this age, you are still trying to master basic coordination. In this phase, only very limited corrections should be made. Only the very obvious mistakes should be corrected.
Op de voorvoet blijven. Op de voorvoet blijven.
Children can only concentrate on one challenge at a time.
En nu tegen.
Effort.
Je moet het heel vloeiend kunnen, dus ik kom op hem af, ik stop.
Practice, the movements become much more relaxed. The result of plenty of practice is that unnecessary effort disappears and the movements take less effort. Success lies in repetition. A lot of practice leads to the instilling of effective movements. Efforts at this stage are aimed at making movements second nature. After a time, you will use the correct technique without having to think about it. At Ajax, players are given exercises as homework.
Let goed op zijn lichaam.
In time, rough coordination becomes refined coordination. This Why is there so much attention given to footwork and coordination in the Ajax course? Because in the development of the nervous system, the hands develop earlier than the feet. This is why young soccer players must not begin with simply soccer exercises, but with suitable footwork. The nervous system is ready for this. It is a question of training the coordination between the nervous system and feet.
Ga je door. Tuk, tuk, tuk. 1, 2, 3, 4. Prima. En ga je door, ga je door, ga je door, ga je door, ga je door. Ja. Voorhouden tot de laatste. Ja, 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 ja. Ja, ja, ja. Knie, zet, voorvoet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Prima. Zie je die doet? Ja, die doet goed. Ja, ga door, ga door. Frequentie hier. Frequentie, ja. Gaat heel goed. Iedereen geconcentreerd en perfect doen. Knie, zet, diep. Van bekken met de voet. Goeie korte afzetting en 3 passen. Armen.
Good footwork is very important for a soccer player. You have to adjust your style of running to the playing situation. You will do this by running faster and taking longer strides. In a smaller area, you will have to run while taking shorter strides without this decreasing your speed. We practice this at Ajax by using numerous obstacles. In this way, we force the players to adapt their stride length. The distance between the obstacles naturally depends on the age of the player and the objective you wish to achieve. When training at high frequencies, the distances are somewhat smaller. And if you want to practice a longer stride, then the distances are a bit longer. When you use the higher obstacles, you start to train the use of the knee. The height, of course, has to be adjusted to the level of personal capacity. Footwork is also the basis of kicking technique. If you are stable, be Staying steady on your feet is largely a question of coordination. Many exercises for footwork and leg rhythm in the Ajax system are instilled by repetition at the very beginning. This leads to more graceful soccer movement.
Kortere trippen, via draaisnelheid, ta 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 ta. Rotatiesnelheid, armen en benen, inzet, voorvoet.
Footwork. Many of the exercises used at Ajax are meant to improve the quality of the footwork.
Voorwaarts. Elke grij zij in terug. Verder weg. Ja. 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 Klaar. Nee. 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 Hier, niemand beter en even weer. Heel goed, snelheid. Aanwiezen, 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 aanwiezen.
To be swift on your feet, you have to be solidly placed in your soccer shoes. And for this, you need strong ankles.
Peter, maak je meer fouten, mag het uit. Kom maar. Meer benen. Draaisnelheid van de springtouw. Met de hoogste snelheid die je hebt. Ja, heel goed. Prima. Goed. Eén been, andere been. Korte wissel. Heel goed. Prima. Opnieuw. Ah, jullie gaat heel goed. Jullie gaat heel goed. Ja. Pats, 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 pats. Als een eigen bering. Ja. Touch, touch, touch.
In the spurt of growth during adolescence, you grow faster than you did before. But everything doesn't grow equally fast. Your torso and your leg length. Due to this, you take longer strides. This reduces the number of steps you take in the first few meters. Step frequency falls. In other words, the footwork declines. This is not good, because in soccer, you also have to be ready to react quickly in the correct manner. This requires good footwork. It is better to adjust the way you run to the situation. This usually means taking shorter strides. This will give you more frequent contact with the ground and a greater chance. At other times, it is better to change the stride length. When you don't have possession of the ball, you should be able to react quickly. This is usually done with a wide stance, your feet wide apart. Reacting quickly is also easier when your muscles are flexed. This happens automatically when you run on the balls of your feet. By standing flat on the entire foot, you will never be able to react quickly. In soccer, not only is fast acceleration important, but also the ability to stop quickly. With each change of direction, you not only have to stop the inertia of your body, you then have to accelerate quickly in a new direction. Help to make the muscles faster and stronger and give them greater stamina. This is the time when you can train speed, strength, and stamina. If you try to do this earlier, it has little effect. During this period, you should concentrate on soccer technique and body coordination. This makes up the T in tips. Later in the training, increasing attention is given to the other elements. Ajax also has clear vision on how these characteristics should be further developed. Training should be as functional as possible. That means that you should closely analyze what a soccer player needs. This allows you to concentrate on certain actions and use systematic training to improve them. And it's very important that the particular action is then reintegrated into the whole. At the end, you are left with a situation in which In part 1, we saw why and how we do coordination training at Ajax.
En de skipping midden hoog. En nu de hoge knie.
In this part, we focus on speed training. As a soccer player, your movements during the match are very complex. You have to continually react to the playing situation, which demands continual changes in speed and direction. The distance you run to do this lies between 5 and 8 miles. If you look at how you do this, it looks something like this. 20 to 30% of the time you are walking. You jog 30 to 40% of the time. You run between 15 and 25%. You sprint from 10 to 15%. And walk backwards between 4 and 8% of the time. The percentages are naturally dependent on the playing concept and the position you take in it. In top matches, the amount of sprinting rises to 18%. Whether or not you sprint with the ball, it is seldom in a straight line. You almost always sprint in an arc and change directions. This demands extra strength. The body's center of gravity is sometimes more to the left, then more to the right, sometimes back over the heels, and then forward over the toes. For this reason, good body coordination is important. Sprint spurts in football are generally between 3 yards and 20 yards. This lasts between 1 and 4 seconds. Sometimes you have to sprint longer, but sprinting for 5 seconds full out happens rarely. For this reason, training at Ajax focuses on improving the start and acceleration. The ability to start and accelerate is a question of muscle strength times the speed at which muscles move. Scientific research has shown that the acceleration speed is primarily determined by the strength of the first step. This also requires the greatest amount of muscle power. The second step requires a little less, the third step still less, and so forth. By this point, you should be up to speed. The power you put behind the first step is critical. A good start is half the work. In training, it is important to make a distinction between stationary starts and starts with a forward motion or flying starts.
Come on.
The more immobile you are at the start, the greater the accent will have to lie on muscle power. Players have to concentrate well in order to use all the strength they can muster. With a flying start, a high speed can be achieved rapidly because getting started takes less strength and energy. This energy is then available for a greater sprinting speed, which you reach faster. Most sprints in soccer are short, lasting only a couple of seconds. For this reason, emphasis in training remains on the strength put into the first step of acceleration. It's essential. So concentration should not be placed so much on the length of the sprint, but more on the explosion of the start, and particularly the first step.
Very good. Ja. Ja. Eén, twee, drie, vier. Sprint. Wat, nee.
Additional power training is necessary for players whose first step is weak. To use the available strength in the first step more quickly, starting exercises are done on a slope with a gentle incline. Leg movements become faster. The nervous system then learns coordination for speed. When descending a slope, less resistance is encountered. This demands less strength for the first step. Of course, the slope shouldn't be too steep. You should be able to increase step frequency without holding yourself back.
Je reed op de rode. Ja. Stop. Ja. En gaan. Hup. En weg. Hup. En weg. Ja. Hup. En weg. Hup.
Just after sprinting with less resistance, you must repeat this in a normal situation. Then you try to translate the higher movement frequency to the normal situation on flat ground. The increasing the speed of the first step can also be trained using an elastic cord. This provides a catapult effect to the start. You can also train fast leg movements on flat ground.
En hoog. Gaan, gaan, gaan. En hoog even. Heel hoog, heel hoog. Niet vol hè. Tussen. Arm inzet.
Eén, twee, drie, vier.
Kom maar, snelheid. Ga je tot hoog niet door. Arm inzet, heel vlotter, frequentie weer. Arno, jij ook? Ja.
Adding more resistance increases the effect of sprinting exercises later on. The objective of these exercises is to give you more starting power while maintaining technique. You may begin only once the technique is good. The resistance should be such to allow you to maintain technique while running. Running up a hill is training with greater resistance. This requires greater muscle strength in the very first step.
Door. Ga je lekker door.
The same goes for exercising on stairs.
Hoge knie. Meer afstand houden. Meer afstand, jongens. Snelheid. Hup. Niet missen de treden. Arm inzet, been inzet, keihard. Kom aan. Loop je door.
In start exercises from a stationary position, emphasis is placed on the starting power. In start exercises with forward movement or flying start, the emphasis is placed on the speed with which muscles are flexed. At Ajax, we train this by following coordination exercises with an explosive short sprint.
stop. 1, 2, 3, 4.
In this transition to the sprint, you have to ensure that the starting power is maintained.
En de versnelling.
Characteristic of this type of training is that you have to continually vary the frequency and length of the stride. In a match too, you have to continually adjust the stride. When speaking about speed, we are talking about the physical aspect of soccer. Not as a goal in itself, but in order to create better and more enjoyable soccer. A quicker handling of the ball requires you quickly get in the correct position. Preferably, this is achieved by anticipation. This requires fast leg movements. The S for speed therefore means quick handling, quick anticipation, fast footwork, and fast movements. For speed, you need quick stimulation from the nervous system to the muscles. The position of the feet and footwork play an important part in this. In Europe, it's not called football for nothing.
De eerste serie. Heel goed.
Speed can easily be taught when you have a talent for it. This means that player selection is important. At Ajax, this is tested regularly with a shuffle sprint of 5 times 10 yards.
Die blijft laag in de draai. 5 keer heen en weer en dan afsprinten. Als we het allemaal een keer gedaan hebben zonder dat je de eerste keer voluit gegaan bent, gaan we na om de beurt allemaal weer voluit. En daarna mag je eventueel nog een bonus om het nog een 3e keer te verbeteren.
Oké, fini.
1, 2, 3.
Loop door, hè? Loop door! Ja! Ja!
In a shuttle sprint, fast, short steps are essential. If you sprint in a straight line, your strides will become longer. This makes you vulnerable in soccer. It's much more difficult to stop, change direction, or to time your handling of the ball. For this reason, a shuttle sprint is very soccer specific.
1. Heel laag, Vincent. 2. 1. Laag. 2. 3.
Was hoor, blijven, ga door.
Kom op jongens, snelste tijd.
In this shuttle sprint, the players of Ajax 1 are on average faster than players of Ajax 2. But in the match, speed is not the only thing that counts. The difference between a top team and an average team lies primarily in the quality of the sprints. In general, top players not only take off faster, they also choose the right moment to move. They also know how to take advantage of each other's strong points. In top matches, there are a wealth of situations in which sprinting is required. For this reason, special emphasis is placed at Ajax on improving the start and acceleration.
Oh, wat snel je. Dat is het. Wie de eerste die opstaat. Hé, waar zit? Kom aan. Ja. Ja. En ga.
Physical training and speed training should always serve the game of soccer and never be done for their own sake. So never train just speed. Always ask yourself what kind of speed you need and in which situation it will be needed. The manner in which speed exercises are done at Ajax is in direct result of what you need during the match. All exercises result directly from the needs of soccer.
Dat is beter!
Players are given increasingly less space by their opponents. It forces you to sprint more often or make body movements to free yourself of the defender. The soccer rhythm plays a role in this. At the moment of starting off, the pulling away, the camouflaged movement, putting yourself in a position alone in front of the goalkeeper, all movements and actions without balls that indicate communication between teammates. Reading, anticipating, and seeing through each other's movements. It takes frequent practice of teamwork. One possibility presented by a training match between 7 attackers and 6 defenders means that the attackers always have one undefended player. You have to find him with a quick circulation of the ball and the correct running patterns. When playing with 6 attackers and 6 defenders, the strategy is different. In this case, an attacker has to ensure that he gets free of his opponent at the right moment to open himself up for a teammate. This is also used to instill playing patterns. When playing with a numerical disadvantage, e.g. 6 attackers and 7 defenders, the strategy is different still. You will have to make many individual movements. By outplaying your defender, a new situation is created in which the attackers must use their heads. Individual training, purely and singly concentrated on physical capacity, is not given attention until the child's first spurt of growth. That lies between 12 and 15 years. For this reason, muscle building and speed power exercise do not receive extra attention until mid-stage, 14 years old. The Ajax key word is speed. Exercises, whether they require more or less muscle strength, should always be done quickly.
Deze grijze, deze sprong opletten. Deze sprong opletten. Heen en mee.
Speed, even in technical exercises, will become increasingly important. Ajax makes selections on this basis from the very beginning.
Op tijd loslaten, Frank de Boer. Hoort er allemaal bij.
When all you do is soccer training, it limits you.
Oké, Kluivert.
The maximum starting speed is less with the ball than without one. The same is true for initial starting power. Your body becomes faster and stronger and develops greater physical capacity when it is pushed to give 100%. To promote this development requires that training include maximum amounts of sprinting and jumping. This is the only way to extend your limits.
Ja. En weg. Eén van de eerste passen weggaan. Van de armen en benen die zit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ja, heel goed. Ga je door, ga je door. 1, 2, 3, 4.
To confine training to exercises with the ball, these limits will not be reached and therefore not improved. Constantly extending the limits of what you can do, the drive to become better and learn something new, is something a soccer player at Ajax always has to strive for. This has everything to do with personality.
Eén voor oud.
Is dat wanneer je een bal vraagt, als je tegenstander aan de buitenkant staat, dat je binnendoor wil komen, dat je niet pas zijn.
The way in which talent is developed at Ajax is the basis for success. This means that players are supervised in every way possible.
Descendre. De straat naar beneden gaan. Nou, descendre la rue, dat is de straat.
The course also teaches you how to take care of your body. You are taught, for example, when and when not to play soccer.
Hij is ook wat verkleurd, ja. Dus wat gaan we doen?
Sometimes you can play soccer with an injury without it causing damage. This is true, for instance, of a bruise. But with a pulled ankle ligament, you absolutely must not play.
Woensdag heb ik hem aan de kant gehouden omdat hij kwam met een gekneusde teen.
Young players don't know the difference. They have to learn how to take care of their bodies. That is why there is an attendant for everyone at Ajax. Working with the trainers and team leaders, they supervise the players.
Wat pijn gaan hebben, maar het is niet zo dat ik hem moet vasthouden.
Another part of supervision is the prevention of injury. The most important way to prevent them is through good coordination. So during training and at home, players do a variety of exercises to improve coordination.
En rustig zo. Blijf staan, blijf staan. Goed zo. Goed zo, nou vast. Goed zo. Vast staan. En weer naar voren. Blijf een pootje naar rechts. Goed zo, vast staan. En weer naar links. Ja, hou vast, hou vast, hou vast.
For a soccer player, it is very irritating to have something wrong with a foot. You have to try to prevent this type of thing. If you neglect it, you could suffer for a long time. Soccer is a contact sport. You confront not only yourself, but the competing team as well. Only training to develop brute strength is too one-sided. You should also be able to control the strength through agility and timing. That makes power training in football very complicated. So complicated that body strength can best be exercised in specific soccer situations or in dry situations which come close. Duels sometimes require a flashy and other times a static flexing of the muscles. Duels have to be practiced in soccer situations, first with light opposition and later with more opposition. Here you learn how to brace your body in fractions of a second.
Oh, wat jammer. Maar dan neemt hem over. Ja, hij is nog niet weg. Ja, ja. En dan gaat hij weer. Ja, hey. Kom! Hey, rust. Hey, doe eens niet open. Houden, houden. Zo is het. Jij vindt niet. Hey, hey.
The use of torso muscles can be strengthened through exercise. In soccer, it doesn't matter what distance you run. What does matter is that the ball does its work. Often you have to sprint too, from and with the ball. The repetition and maintenance of short sprints necessary in top soccer is what it all comes down to. Ajax training actively targets this area. Flashy maneuvers with the ball that are repeated often. It requires lightning-fast footwork, short contact with the ground, quick rotations, and fast movements, even in high states of fatigue.
Ja. 1. Ja. 2. 2 kanten draaien. Ja. 3. Ja. 4. Ja. Hup. Ja. Hup. Ja. Hup. Ja. Los. Nee. Hop. Jas. Eén, 2, 3, 4, 5, go! Mooi. Lekker mooi. Ga je, daar ga je. 1 en 2 kick. En 3 en 4 en 5 kick. En het kan er. En een stukje. En een stukje. En een stukje. Kijk, rust. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hup. 7, 8 en 9 en 10. 1.
'Even more important than jumping power are nerve and timing, being at the right place at the right time, just before your opponent, staying in the air with a good head strength and correct head position. This requires such a complex series of actions that it can best be practiced as one whole exercise, using simple head exercises and then gradually more difficult ones.
Geen passen. Probeer je te opwerken. Ja. Ja.
Dat en weg. Kom.
Goed hier.
Hey. Ha, dat is beter. Oh. Ja, ja, hop. Ja, ja. Ja, bovenop. Ja, hey.
2 handen, Fabian.
Oh.
Meespringen, Rodi. Kom op. Binnen.
Kom maar.
Goed, Jimmy.
Ga je. Hey, kom nou eens, Wim. Hey, Johnny. Ja, kom in. Hey. Ja.
The Ajax playing system requires increasingly faster circulation of the ball. In teamwork, the ball should do the work. To achieve this, a player must remain master of the ball. So Ajax players are required to have good and especially fast handling of the ball with insight. That is visual alertness, anticipation, and action. The less time and action there are between receiving the ball and passing it on, the more difficult it will be for the opponent to defend. The opponent is forced to chase the ball. This saps his strength and energy. The creation of opportunities paves the way to success. The Ajax training also often concentrates on match play and position play. In match play, the objective is to score goals. You play more or less from your position. In position play, you have to try to keep possession of the ball for as long as possible. Your position depends more on the location of the ball, your team's players and opponents. Position play can be practiced in various setups, in a numerical disadvantage or advantage, and on fields with different dimensions. When in possession of the ball, you have to ensure that the distances remain large, making it more difficult to defend. When not in possession of the ball, you have to ensure that you approach the ball at the right moment and make the space around the ball small. The Ajax playing system only works when you have players that fit into it. They have to have perfect technique, have good insight, continue to function well in all situations, be fast. That's where tips comes in, because these are the same characteristics for which a player is selected at an early stage. That's not an arbitrary selection. Because Ajax plays attractive, offensive soccer in the opposing team's half of the pitch, they usually confront many opponents in a small space. Ajax also has clear vision on how these characteristics should be further developed. Training should be as functional as possible. That means that you should closely analyze what a soccer player needs. This allows you to concentrate on certain actions and use systematic training to improve them. And it's very important that the particular action is then reintegrated into the whole. At the end, you are left with a situation in which the whole is more than the sum of its parts.